What's up, ladies and gents? This is Cobra493. I'm here with ArComzGunr, and we are talking about the Destiny beta. I'm here to get his impressions on the game and basically what his experience was like with it. So we're here to get some information or intel, depending upon which side you're on, military or civilian. But ComzGunr, go ahead and introduce yourself. We all know who you are from the podcast, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, my gamer tag is ArComzGunr. I'm Joel Williams, Staff Sergeant Type, U.S. Army Reserves. I've been in for many a day, and I am a gamer and a half. I love to play games, and I'm here with Cobra493 to give my impressions on the Destiny beta, and you guys have a lot to look forward to, and I'm going to keep it at that until the questions start.
Okay, so what platform are you playing on? And I guess what did you feel upon the initial startup of the game?
I'm playing on the PS4 right now, and my initial impression was on the alpha previously, about 3 weeks prior to this beta, and I couldn't believe what I was playing in the alpha. I mean, we're talking about a rough draft of a game. We're talking about a game that it's like sculpting with a chainsaw, comparatively with sculpturing, and usually games that are released in beta for tryout for impressions and for test drives like this are glitchy, but this one was not. This one was more put together and more highly polished than most final games when they're released. So, well, then again, it is Bungie. So, are we surprised? They rock. They are professionals to the nth degree.
Yeah. And that was your alpha impressions, or was that also your beta impressions as well?
Also, my beta impressions. To me, they were both. The alpha, I wasn't able to get too deep into the player versus player PvP because I was very limited in my time. Unfortunately, I only played like 3.5 hours. But the beta, oh my God, I played a tremendous amount of player versus player, and for all you Call of Duty and Battlefield first-person shooter players out there, you think you know how to play first-person shooters. Wait till you play this fucking this Destiny beta. It is going to kick your ass. It's extremely hard. The weapons, the armor, you gotta do your woodshedding, and you gotta modify and upgrade your weapons and your armor, and you're gonna die a lot until you get yourself to that perfect modification and the perfect ingredient in both the armor and weapons, because that game is something else. Very intense. I'm screaming, I'm shouting, I'm damn near throwing I'm damn near getting up and headbutting my television because I'm so into it. But it's not, it's just because it's competitive and it rocks. Any kind of game, video game, that captures your attention to the point where your adrenaline is going through the ceiling and you're about to headbutt your fucking TV because you're that into it, I would say that's a success on Bungie's part. And they've done that for me. They've done that to other people that were playing that game too. You could hear them cackling in the background, just, because it's just that fucking fun.
Well, I mean, so far so good. So, what classes are there, and really, how does each one differ from the other?
I've only played the Titan because I'm a juggernaut personality. My personality archetype is that of a fucking big clod hopping armor fucking pack Titan, and it works for me. The look, the way it is, I like using melee, so I run around and I just punch fuckers to death.
So obviously the Titan's like the tank then.
It is pretty much. He's a fucking leviathan, but his big thing is melee. When he punches shit, it dies. And there's the Hunter class, which is subject matter expert on weapons. They've got some before I go off to the Hunter, the Titan's superpower. He jumps up in the air and he strikes the ground with both of his fucking fists, and the ground erupts with electricity and thunder shock, and it just destroys and vaporizes everything in its wake. Within a close proximity, it's an area effect. I would say within like 30 or 40 feet, 360 around him, and everything is vaporized. And he's got melee, that's his specialty, and his grenades. His grenades are electrified to the most. And the Hunter class, he can jump up in the air and he can throw his supercharged ability as a projectile. in the form of like a ball of energy, kinetic ball of energy, and it explodes. He also leaps a little bit higher. He's faster on his feet. He or she is the hunter is faster on their feet, a little bit more dexterous, and they are subject matter experts in the shooting skills. They've got a nose sway on the scope with the sniper rifle. They have this, what looks like, it's called a hand cannon. Properly, I call it a freaking hand howitzer. But it's a giant, it looks like a 500 pistol revolver. But the hunter has a special ability where it catches on fire and it shoots out fire sunbursts with the projectile, and it pretty much vaporizes everything. One of his special powers. And the hunter, the warlock is, a little bit of both the Titan and the hunter. Not so much with the armor, but with the special abilities. I wouldn't say is as unique as opposed to between the Titan and the hunter, but the warlock is more magic based. He's got a bit more power with his magic abilities. He's good at shooting, but he's not very well armored. But for the most part, there's the Titan, Hunter, and Warlock class, and I choose the Titan. He's pretty well balanced between all three of them.
Okay, I mean that's going to lead me to my next question here. You were describing supercharged abilities and stuff like that. Tell us about like combat in the game, how it works, and especially about those supercharged abilities, how they come into play, and then also tell us, since obviously Bungie is a with their work on Halo, how much relevance did that have on this game as well?
Well, obviously the jump. The jumping abilities. It's a three-step jump. Once you max out your jumping ability, with it's a three-step jump. You hit the X button 1, 2, and 3 times, and you're flying through the air. You can jump. You can die from certain jumps if you jump off a cliff. If you don't hit the 3 jet bursts while descending, you die.
So there is fall damage. That's good.
Yeah, there is fall damage. In many cases, I lost half my health due to some of the falls. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But as far as relevance to Halo, the vehicle play, each player has you hit for the PS4, you hit the middle pad button, and then you hold down the square button, and your vehicle shows up right there, and you jump on it. And it's kind of like that Star Wars Empire Strikes Back bike speeder thing through the forest. It's very similar to that. It adds a cool element to the game. There's no weapons. It's not weaponized. Some of the vehicles, like say on the moon, for instance, the lunar war escape for the player versus player. There are precariously placed vehicles out there that that are armored, that are larger, and they shoot. So you're running around, you're flying around in those things, just blowing shit up. Some of them are pretty powerful too, but they're also big, so they're not so small that they would pretty much render the foot soldier irrelevant. But it's very relevant. I would say if you spent a lot of time playing the Halo series, and if you liked the Halo series, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love Destiny. From what I've seen in the beta so far, I can just imagine how humongous the world is gonna be, and the different different aspects. Like, we only played for the player versus player 4 maps. The last 2 days, they introduced 2 other maps for the Iron Banner part of the Crucible. The Crucible is the player versus player, and that was 2 aspects. And you look across the screen, there's like 10 different varieties of Crucible player versus player when the game comes out. So from what I hear, they're also, when they reintroduce this on Wednesday, because they're on shutdown right now, I saw that earlier this afternoon, they're shutting down and doing maintenance. When they reintroduce it for PlayStation, for Xbox, for the PC, I've been told, not confirmed, but I've been told they're going to authorize level up to 10. We've been up to level 8 thus far and maxing it out, but from what I hear, they're going to allow leveling up to 10. So all that stuff I have in my warehouse for level 9 and 10 is going to be used now.
Okay, so that's going to lead me to my next question. Tell us about that leveling system and really how it works. Is there a grind, questing? I mean, how's that shit work?
For the for the campaign, for the co-op where you're with your two buddies, there's a tremendous amount of questing. The small amount of areas that the beta has opened to quest upon, uh, there is each area that you go for your quest is just there's so many doorways to open. There's so many caves to enter. There's so many uh, buildings to go to the basement cellar areas where there's enemies that you have to fight and pick up this, pick up that, inspect this. There are missions on your intercom. You'll have various female voices, various male voices. There are these little green beacons that you'll see throughout the world of Destiny in the campaign. And you go up to these beacons and you hold square, and a mission, a quest will come in. And you go about finding whatever that quest entails. And when you're done with that quest, you get things. You get XP, you get resources like mods for your weapons, you get crystals, which I don't know what are being used for yet. That's probably going to be introduced when the game comes out. But various resources, or a gun, or a piece of armor, what have you, and XP. So, as far as that's concerned, the leveling up system in the campaign mode is pretty much to be expected as it is in most games. The more enemies you kill, the more XP you accumulate. The more quests you do, you'll have a larger chunk of XP gained upon completion of each of these quests and so forth.
Okay, and how do weapon stats affect the game, and what variety of weapons are there, and how do they function?
Well, my favorite thus far, my two favorite weapons thus far have been the squad rifle, which is a semi-automatic. I like to think of it as like a 308 or a 338. What is it? Rantoul or whatever the Couture, whatever that's called. A larger caliber weapon, and the auto rifle is probably reminiscent of a 223 faster firing rifle. Those are the two most popularly used rifles in the player versus player. I think once you level up the auto rifle, those are pretty much overpowered. They fire extremely fast. And
so weapons level up then?
Yeah, the weapons level up as you modify them. The more kills you get with each weapon, the more mods you can enter into it. Like, say, for instance, I get 100 kills with this first. I go and pick up on. I pick up an auto rifle on a quest, and then I equip it, and then I go into a PvP, go into the Crucible. I get a couple hundred kills with it. That will open up. You'll see a prompt in your menu that you can modify this now. And what this would be more damage, or a scope you can put on it, or a muzzle brake, which will prevent it from jumping around so much, or what is that? Kinetic damage. You'll see a little icon where you can click on that. If that's open, you click that. Your weapon will then have higher kinetic damage, which is the energy on impact.
Okay, so there's different damage types with
Yes.
weapons as well. Okay.
Yes, and those weapons that can be modified that way are only the colored background weapons. The weapon is pictured in your inventory in a square, and the weapon is in the center. If there's just a white background within that square behind the weapon, you can't modify it. It's just a garden variety plain Jane weapon. If there's a green, we've only seen green thus far in the level 8. You go to level 9, 10, 11, that's green. I think 12 and up, to a certain extent, is probably red, and there's purple, and then there's yellow, which is the ultra rare. And I think you only see those between levels 18 and 20. But if they have a colored background on the weapon, then you can modify those. You'll have certain difficulty ratings. It's probably a hell of a lot more difficult and involved to level up a yellow or a gold background weapon than is a green one. So it gets tougher, but as you level them up, my weapon, my current scout or squad weapon, squad rifle, Started off with, what was it, 51 damage, and now it's doing 62 damage because I have it maxed out in the mods.
Wow. Okay. But so it is scaled though. Is it possible? This might sound funny, but is it like possible to use the starting weapon throughout the entire game and have it be more, are the loot drops kind of scaled, or is that kind of unwise?
It depends. I don't know if anybody's watched Forrest Gump, but it's like a bunch of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna fucking get. You'll be going through a quest and you could get a piece of garbage freaking squad rifle, or you could get a rocket launcher with a green background that you can fully modify. Some of the rocket launchers have guided missiles, and some of them, there's different ranges of weapons. You'll see on the bottom of that square, there'll be a description of the weapon, what its most notable attribute is. Some of them, if you miss your target, sometimes the missile will go right back into the magazine. Sometimes,
wow.
It's pretty cool. Sometimes, if you're under fire and you're firing it, it will be more accurate. It all depends. There's many different variances between each weapon. You'll have one squad rifle at 57 damage, starting when you get it. That's the damage output it gives in just basic without any mods on it. And that same squad rifle, basic, there could be 5 different iterations of it, with that little description on the bottom being something completely different.
Okay. And what instant content is there? I mean, is there specific things that are only your fire team can enter, or is the whole world open? And how do the group play mechanics work?
The whole world in the campaign is open. I have not seen, on the beta, of course, there are closed areas. You'll see a doorway or a cave that has clouded smoke blocking and obscuring the view of it inside, and you can't enter it yet, probably because it's just closed for the beta right now. But I assume that when the game kicks off in its release, no holds barred. Everything, you can stick your nose into just about every hole, into every access way that there is in this game. So far, there's not been any restrictions or limitations to who can enter what cave. If it's open, everybody can go through it.
Okay. Describe to us then now, because we've made mention of it before, how the PvP system works and what game types of PvP are there.
Game types of PvP right now are the past few days. There have been 2 different maps. There's been the one on Venus. I forget the actual name of the map, but it's a jungle. It's kind of a paradise-like jungle world with water, with lakes and streams and vistas and views that you just cannot imagine. Some of the views, you'll be standing on a cliff, looking down, and some of the viewpoints are just unbelievable, the artistry done in this game. And that one is in PvP in the Crucible, and then there's another one that's like a moonscape. Again, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a lunar landscape where you're jumping around. There's moon dust kicking up as you're running or driving or what have you. And then when the Iron Banner opened up yesterday and the day before for like 4 hours a day, it was just a limited entry. There was this. It was kind of like a planet with just busted down warehouses and towering skeletons of buildings that were gutted out and just rotting. And then there's another one that is very similar to Rust on Modern Warfare 2, I imagine. It's pretty much a free-for-all kind of thing. But it's 6 on 6. I don't know if anybody remembers the Rust. That was my absolute favorite.
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of people.
Absolute favorite next to Nuketown map. But it's similar to that. And there are so many fucking hidey holes, so many things to jump onto, so many doorways to go through, that you really need to use squad tactics. Now, between a 6-man squad, typically we had 3 2-man teams going around, and strength in numbers, rolling a little heavy. Sometimes we split off into 2 3-man teams, And rolling heavy seems to be the way to go. When you get into the player versus player, if it's just every man for himself going out and doing their own freaking thing, you guys are going to get your ass stomped upon, because the good teams are rolling in numbers. When you come up to an objective, it's kind of like capture the flag. It's not team deathmatch. It's more like capture the flag. You have to go to predestined positions and capture them, sit on them until it's neutralized and until it's captured, and then you roll off and capture the next one. And it's pretty intricate. You have to have numbers, because if you're sitting there by yourself capturing an objective and 2 or 3 individuals roll up on your ass, you're screwed. You're gonna get flattened like a damn pancake. But for the most part, player versus player is very much like capture the flag, and it's incredibly intense. The adrenaline rushes that I have been given, that I've been going through with this game, it's difficult at first. You've got to have patience, and you have to have the patience to build up your character, just like any RPG.
Okay. What about a subscription fee?
None that I've seen.
Okay.
I currently have on pre-order the Ghost Edition, which comes in a metal box with a little ghost. And if you've been watching YouTube, you know what I mean by a ghost. It's that little smart object that hovers through the air that has artificial intelligence and conversation. It's your guidance. It's kind of like your GPS. He's your little smart connection, wireless smart connection to the world. And that one has a Ghost Pass, or a Destiny Pass, that has access to the 2 DLCs that's included in that pack. So I won't be purchasing extra DLC. But the Destiny Pass, or the Ghost Pass, however they word it, that is the only thing that I've seen thus far. I've not seen or heard of anything related to any kind of subscription monthly.
Okay. So what are your feelings on the game overall, based upon what you've seen put together and what you've experienced and stuff like that?
On a scale of 0 to 10, I'll give it a 10.5.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's just, like I said earlier, this beta is more highly polished, and it's better put together than, say, Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 had so many quirks, and the servers were down constantly, and you'd be in the middle of a game and it would just freeze, and or just a myriad of other problems. None of this existed in the days that I played this. I played every day, most of the day, as I'm currently unemployed. I'm going to be a full-time student starting the 15th of August, but currently I'm just kind of in between situations. So I've had plenty of time to woodshed on this game and spend a lot of time getting to know it intimately. And for the most part, it is a very well put together game, and it's beautiful. You've heard me make references in the A Team of Gaming, probably 3rd and 4th episode, about just simple things like the water. I have a friend of mine who makes water for Ubisoft games, and he was commenting on the water. I played with him extensively the past couple of days, and he was commenting on it, just the little things like the water, or when you're running around and you come up to a little grass field, the little blades of grass swaying in the wind. I mean, just the little things. It's just so well put together and so beautiful. The views, like in the tower, for instance, the tower is the marketplace. When you get what's known as an engram, it's a green encrypted weapon that you have to have hacked, and you can't use it until you take it to the tower to the encrypto whatever dude. People have been nicknaming him the Encryptard. But you go to the Encrypto guy and you have these engrams decrypted, and it can be anything. If it's a weapon, it'll say it's a weapon. If it's armor, it'll say it's armor. If it's a cape or a sash, the Titans have a little sash that they wear on their hip. It's kind of like a regimental identification, like soldiers have patches on their left and right shoulder to show where they've served in combat, or to show where they're serving currently. it's kind of like that. But you go there and you don't know what you're going to get. I got the current squad rifle that I'm using right now, which is pretty damn strong. It's very, very accurate. It's a semi-automatic, probably like a 308 round. It's a cross between it's a cross between an assault defense rifle and a crew service M60 or M240.
Okay. Any closing statements?
Closing statements, the marketplace, you go to the tower, it's beautiful. You go and interact with various individuals in there. You've got a shipwright, you have a gunsmith, you have an encryptoid dude, a dude that decrypts encrypted gear that you get. You have a post office when you go to the to the tower. You'll have a message. There'll be an exclamation point hovering over the post office, and Bungie has given us so far several different pieces of armor, several weapons just for being present and playing in the beta. And you go to the post office to receive any messages Bungie has for you. And there's just so much to do, so much to explore in the campaign mode. The biggest thing is just exploring and going and wreaking havoc and decimating everything that crosses your path with your buddies. You have comms with your buddies, you're talking with your buddies, it's wonderful so far, and it's so small, the beta is right now compared to the entire game when it's released. I would say that we've been playing 3/16 of the games thus far, and my final impression is if you like Skyrim, if you like MAG, if you like the good parts of Battlefield 4, the better aspects of Battlefield 4, because they've got their good aspects. If you like the combination of that, then you'll love, and Halo also. If you like all those combinations, those games, you're gonna love Destiny. That's my final impression.
In other words, take my money now, right?
Take my money now. Yes.
All right. Well, that's all I've got. Yeah, that's it. You're here with ArComzGunr. You're here with the Cobra 593. We're talking Destiny with the Legion Gaming Network. Stay tuned. I'm sure we'll have more information, and we'll see you on the battlefield. Thanks.
Yeah, make sure you go to www.legiongamingnetwork.com. Register for free. If you're a veteran, you'll have instant fellowship and access to other veterans who game like it's the end of the world. We love gaming, and we love gaming with other vets because we're vets.
That's right. That's right. All right. This is ArComzGunr, Cobra 593 out.